we shall continue with the nuclear and particle physics. We have been discussing about the types of detectors used for detecting the nuclear radiation. And last class we have been discussing about ionization chamber, that is the basic one. Now we will go to the next one, namely Geiger-Müller counter, or denoted as GM counter. So here we will be explaining the construction, the principle and working of the GM counter, and also we will be telling about what is quenching process. Quenching process is, as the word says, the particle enters, the ionization takes place and it should be ready. It should quench that and be ready for the next pulse. That is called the quenching process. We have to see how it is done in the GM counter, and we will also define what is a dead time. So when a particle is detecting and another particle has to come after some time, if it comes between that dead time, it cannot count. So there is a time, dead time, where it cannot count any particle. It has to recover. So that is also a recovery time. We will define about recovery time and dead time. And the Geiger-Müller plateau, that is the plateau characteristics we will get, so that we will know at what potential or applied potential the GM tube will be functional. Geiger-Müller counter, that is the expansion for GM counter. Geiger and Müller are name of the scientists, and this GM counter is used for radiation detection and measurement. When you say radiation, it is nuclear radiation, high energy radiation. All nuclear radiation will be in MeV. All that light, that visible light, is all in EV. X-ray is in KeV. That energy coming from nuclear radiation will be in MeV, million electron volt. So when you say radiation detection, we mean that MeV. And measurement, and what type of radiation the GM counter can measure. It can detect alpha, beta and also gamma radiation. Now what is the construction? So basically it is a cylinder. It is a cylinder, empty cylinder, and chamber. One side we have got window, maybe mica sheet or glass, thin glass, where the particle can enter. So it is a cylindrical metal sheet, and another side is closed. One side is closed with the window, the other one is closed with the metal, and at the center we have got a wire, thin wire, which is insulated, thin wire which will not be in contact with the tube. And this part, so this is the wire that is connected to positive of the battery, and this the cylindrical chamber is connected to negative of the battery, and through a resistor R. Now this is the basic idea. This is cathode and anode, and there will be electric field here, because this anode is, this is positive and this is negative. There will be an electric field here. So there won't be any current passing through this, there won't be any current coming up. When a particle enters, we will get a current pulse. So we will see how it happens. This is the basic construction, we will see how it happens. So the anode wire is a tungsten wire, like as we have in any electric bulb. It is a tungsten wire, is used as the anode, thin wire along the axis of the cylindrical cathode. Cathode is a tube, cylindrical tube we get, and it has got copper or graphite coating inside. So it has got copper or graphite coating, any metal, and then the coating will be copper or graphite. And this window we are talking about is a thin mica sheet or glass. So that why do you make it thin? So that the particle can enter easily. Now we will just go to the principle behind this. So it is the whole enclosure, it is filled with monoatomic gas like argon. This is a monoatomic gas. Oxygen is diatomic, but this is monoatomic because it is a very stable gas. It is a stable gas. Therefore, there is no molecule, it is only atom. So it is a monoatomic gas. argon it is filled with that. Little halogen is used for quenching. So, we will discuss about quenching later. Now, we will just say some halogen is used for quenching purpose. Quenching in the sense, once a particle comes, it should immediately get absorbed and then be ready for the next pulse. That is called quenching. When radiation enters, what happens when a radiation enters from this window? Ar atom is ionized. This argon, the symbol is Ar, it is filled with the Ar gas and then halogen also. Mainly majority will be Ar gas. So, when a particle enters, it will get ionized. One electron will come out, it will get ionized. So, what will happen once it gets ionized? The Ar atom it will become ion. Negative will go towards the anode and the positive ion will go towards the cathode. So, naturally it will go. Therefore, it will produce a pulse. What happens is produces short intense pulse of current. So, it is ionized and it will produce short intense pulse of current because the positive will be moving towards this Ar atom, ionized atom will be moving towards the cathode, and the electron which is removed, which is ionized, comes out and it will be attracted towards the positive terminal. Electron is negative charge, so it will be attracted towards the positive terminal. So, we get a short pulse. So, when one particle enters, normally there is no current here, there is no current flowing here. When a particle enters, there is a pulse, there is a current coming here. So, the number of pulses per second depends on the intensity of radiation. Suppose the radiation is very intense, it is coming one by one, then we will get more number of pulses. So, the number of pulses per second depends on the intensity of radiation. Now, we will go into more detail. Now, we said why it is used this way. This is we said it is a cylindrical cathode and the anode is wire. So, if you look at in this direction, it is a cylindrical cathode with anode in this direction. Suppose I turn this and look in this direction, it will be like this. So, it will be like this is the cylindrical cathode and the wire is going inside. So, it will be only a dot we will be seeing here. This is one cross sectional view. The other one what we drew is the side view. This is cross sectional view. So, what will happen is this anode, the center is anode wire, the outer cylinder is cathode. Therefore, the electric field will be moving from positive potential to negative potential. So, we have drawn the arrow from the wire to the cathode, positive to negative. So, the direction that will be the electric field direction. So, we are showing as a arrow. The radial field is, electric field is radial. So, that is what it goes along the radius of the cylinder and very strong near the anode wire. See here, the number of lines coming here will be same, constant. Suppose 1 lakh lines come out, all of them will be reaching here. Near the cathode cylinder, the lines are all spread out. So, therefore, the intensity will be small. Here near the anode, all of them are crowded. You just see here, one line is here, the next line is here, they are spread out. Therefore, along the cathode, along the cylinder. Therefore, the intensity will be small. Whereas, the same number of lines when they come near the wire, they are all crowded, very closely packed. Therefore, it will be more intense, electric field will be. That is the reason Geiger and Muller, they have made a cylinder and a wire, thin wire, so that the field will be large. So, the number of lines of force are crowded near the anode. That is what we have seen in the diagram. So, the reason for keeping a cylindrical cathode and wire anode. Now, the working, already we just briefed, now we will go into more detail. So, when a particle enters Ar ionized, Ar atom, so monatomic atom, it will get ionized. So, it will get ionized, that is the electron will be removed. So, the electron move towards anode because the electron is removed from the atom, that is called ionization, ionized. The electron will be attracted towards positive anode and the remaining part of the Ar, which is positive ion, will be attracted towards the cathode. Electron move towards anode. Now large electric field, therefore large velocity. Already just in the diagram we have seen electric field is large at the wire, near the wire. Therefore, they will be attracted towards that at a large velocity, because the field is large. It will have, because electric field is nothing but force experienced per unit charge. So the force becomes larger and larger. So they will be accelerated and moving towards that. Large electric field near the wire, therefore it will have large velocity, this electron. As they move, because they are moving with large velocity, they excite other AR atoms. So the incident particle was exciting only one AR atom. The electron, when it is moving towards the anode, it will strike some other AR atoms and excites other AR atoms. Now these AR atoms de-excite by ultraviolet radiation. Say if you take hydrogen atom, if you excite, we will be getting you know that red, blue, green, 3 colors we will get. So depending on the how far you excited. For AR, energy levels are such that if it is ionized and if they excite and get de-excite, ionization is different. Excitation is only electron is not completely removed, but it is taken to higher level. If it is taken to higher level and then de-excite, it will de-excite by ultraviolet radiation. If you remember in hydrogen atom we have got a Lyman series, Balmer series, all that visible region, ultraviolet region. So for the visible light, we know it is about 4000 angstrom unit. The visible will be 4000 to 6000 angstrom unit. 4000 will correspond to violet light, and then 6000 will correspond to red light. Now this ultraviolet will be below 4000 and it is 1000. So for AR atom, the radiation when it excites and de-excites, the radiation is about 1000 angstrom unit. This is the reason they have chosen AR, because characteristically it is able to emit ultraviolet radiation. Now this ultraviolet radiation will move in all direction. It is ultraviolet radiation is only a light radiation, or it is a photon. It is chargeless. Therefore, it will not get attracted towards positive or negative. It will not be getting attracted towards the cathode or anode. It will be going in all direction. Therefore, as a result, what happens? They will fall on cathode also. Cathode and anode, they will fall. They will fall on the, some of them will fall on the cathode, and photoelectrons are produced. Because already we have just seen coating. We have got the graphite coating, copper coating. Therefore, when it goes and hits there, then that the cathode will be emitting photoelectron. What is that photoelectron? So this ultraviolet radiation, when it strikes the metal, it will be able to give out photoelectron. That is photoelectric effect. So for different elements, different wavelength is there. Now for this one, ultraviolet, because ultraviolet radiation, which is more energetic than visible region, it is able to easily knock out one electron. So the photocathodes falls on cathode and we get photoelectrons emitted, produced. These electrons move towards anode. So we are getting more and more electrons. So these electrons will move towards the anode, and therefore what will happen is this will also bombard and we will get chain reaction. So this will cause chain reaction, avalanche of electrons, large number of electrons. So if you just go through, you will understand, we will get more and more electrons. So what happened is, one particle, maybe one alpha particle entered. Now this has cost so much. So we get a large number of electrons produced. Therefore we get good amplification. Just one pulse which entered, it is able to get so many electrons. Therefore we get good amplification and independent of initial energy of ionization. This amplification is so large that even a small energy particle enters, it will give same pulse. A small or a high energy particle enters, then also the same number of electrons are produced due to the chain reaction. Therefore it becomes independent. Maybe the total number of electrons produced is 1 lakh, depending on the how many air gases there, atoms are there, and and what is the voltage you apply. Depending on that, 1 lakh. So even the particle is low energy will get 1 lakh electron. If it is having high energy, then also 1 lakh electron, because the multiplication has saturation. Therefore, amplification is independent of initial energy of ionization. So now the small technical problem we have. See, the electron has got small mass. It has got mass small. Therefore, velocity will be large, because we know that kinetic energy is equal to half mv squared. Therefore, when the mass is small, velocity will be larger. So, the large velocity, and therefore it will reach the anode in a short time. So, once a particle enters, we get electron detached and then positive ion. The electron is a small mass. Therefore, it will go fast and reach the anode. Now, the air ions are heavier. So, just imagine we have got air, one electron is removed, which is very light. So, it moves fast. This one with the same potential only, because it has got larger mass, it will move slowly. So, air ions are heavier, therefore, they move slowly towards the cathode. Therefore, air atoms shield the anode for some time. So, what will happen is this air atom, it is slowly moving. So, the anode is here, and the cathode, we have got the cathode cathode is negative. Now, this air is going and shielding. So, we are not able to, the potential has slightly decreased. So, the center, I am just talking about the central wire, which is positive, and the cathode, which is negative. So, if you do not have anything in between, this will be the potential, negative, maybe negative 1000 volts you have put, and so this will be the potential, 1000 volts potential difference. Now, this air ion, it is going and shielding. So, it is shielding the negative, the cathode is negative. This air ion, because this fellow is going slowly, it will go and shield. Therefore, what happens is no more ionization. That will be the stopping, it will stop, because this fellow slowly goes, and at that time, because it is shielding, potential will decrease, and there no ionization, it cannot count any more particle for that till this air ion reaches. Therefore, air ion shield the anode for some time, and that time electric field will reduce. It will, because it is screening the negative potential, electric field will reduce and the discharge terminates. So, after that you will not get any current pulse, it will terminate, because there is no potential there, because this fellow is screening the negative potential. Positive air ions are shielding the negative cathode. Thus, one count over. So, with this the count is over. It cannot count anymore, count over, till this air ion reaches and it gets ready for the next one. So, this one pulse is given now. One alpha particle has entered, all this chain reaction occurred, and then it will stop. It will stop because of the screening, because of the shielding or screening. Thus, one count over. Air ion moves to cathode and gets neutralized. So, we said it is moving. So, what will happen? It will move slowly. So, this electron will move very fast. This will move slowly, and then it will shield, stop the discharge, and it goes to cathode, because it is a positively charged particle. It goes to the cathode, gets neutralized. It will become a normal atom. So, it will be ready for the next pulse. So, it gets moves to the cathode, gets neutralized. So, now here AR has ionization energy greater than work function of the cathode. The ionization energy, AR is a stable atom. So, the ionization energy will be large. Now, what is the work function of cathode? What do you mean by work function? Work function is the energy required to remove. Suppose I have got a metal, maybe you are talking about copper. Copper has got 6 electrons. Now, because atomic number 6 electron. So, what is the energy required to remove the electron? Because the electron is bound into the system material. It is bound in the material or bound in the system. You can talk about material, or so electron is bound. What is the energy required to pull it out? That is called work function of the cathode. Now, this ionization energy, AR is going a larger energy, greater than the work function. Then what will happen? it will go on strike and it will produce another electron which will be creating more confusion. So, as the AR has ionization potential energy greater than work function of the cathode, and so when it goes and hits the cathode, extra electrons are produced, and so extra electron emitted from cathode, causing second pulse, which should be avoided. Why it should be avoided? Because we want to count how many alpha particles are entering, maybe what alpha or beta or gamma. So, suppose I am imagining alpha source is there. I want one particle, one pulse, second particle, second pulse. That is what we require. Now, because of this work function, this problem, ionization energy is larger than the work function, this will go and produce extra electron without alpha particle entering, which will be a wrong count. Alpha particle only one has entered, but this will give a double pulse. So, second, that is what we said, causing second pulse, which should be avoided. Now, to avoid this, what we need is quenching. This is the process of quenching. Now, we will just go into that. That is what quenching. So, the process of quenching, process of avoiding multiple pulses is called quenching. Already we just now stated, because of this ionization potential being ionization potential of AR is greater than the work function of the cathode. Therefore, that fellow when it goes and hits the cathode is producing extra electron which is not wanted, which will give a wrong counting. So, the process of avoiding multiple pulses is called quenching. So, how it is done? To avoid secondary pulse, little amount of halogen like Cl2, chlorine or bromine are used. So, halogen is used. Now, why halogen is used? Small amount of halogen is used. Now, we will see how it is going to avoid the secondary pulse problem. Now, this quenching gas has low ionization potential. So, just recall AR, it has got higher ionization potential. This halogen gas has got low ionization potential. So, what will happen? Quenching gas has low ionization potential, and so AR ions pull one electron from the quench gas and neutralize. So, what will happen is this AR gas, the normal situation was the electron, it will go to the anode immediately, almost immediately, and this AR is taking a long time to go and reach the cathode and causing secondary pulse. This fellow should not go there, AR should not go there, we should do something else. Therefore, halogen is used. So, the AR, what will happen is the AR has got this halogen gas has got low ionization potential. When you say low ionization potential, it means you can easily pull out the electron. You can easily pull out an electron, low ionization potential. Just give a small click, that chlorine will give one electron, donate one electron, or that bromine, for example, bromine, that will easily donate. We need not pull. Therefore, what will happen is this AR, instead of going to the cathode, it is easy for that AR to pull one electron from the nearby halogen. So, that is what it does. So, instead this is AR is positively charged now, ion, and it is wanting one electron to become neutralized. Instead of going to the cathode to get an electron, it will just taking an electron from the nearby halogen, because that halogen is ready to give. Why it is ready to give? Because it has got low ionization potential. Therefore, we will read this now again. Quenching gas has low ionization potential, and so AR ion pulls one electron from the quench gas and it gets neutralized. So, this fellow will be neutralized. So, happy, it is neutralized. Therefore, this AR will not go to the cathode, because it is neutralized, it cannot go to the cathode. Only when it is a positive ion, it will go to the cathode. Now, it has taken one electron from the halogen. Now, the next step, you think that halogen, now it has lost one electron, it wants one electron. So, that will go to the cathode, that will go to the cathode. But because it has got low ionization potential, that will not knock any secondary electron, because it has got low potential, low ionization potential. So, it will go and strike the cathode, it will get neutralized, but at the same time it will not knock one extra electron, confusing the situation. So, that is what we get to the next thing. So now the quench gas, we call it as quench gas, that is halogen, is positive and it moves towards the cathode and gets neutralized. So it will take its own time, but that is not going to create secondary emission. So it will get neutralized. For quench gas, ionization energy is less than work function of cathode. For AR it was greater, now it is less work function of cathode, and so no extra electron emitted. So there is no extra electron emitted. Therefore, there is no extra electron emitted. One alpha particle entering, one count. So that is Packard. Now this is called internal quenching by using halogen. Now we have got another type of quenching, external quenching. In external quenching, external resistor is used. Here in this figure, we have got one external resistor. External resistor is used for external quenching, used as shown in figure, this one. Now we know in electricity books we have studied, RC is the time constant. In any oscillator, R into C. R is resistor, C is capacitance, RC is called time constant and will be in units of second. Now we have to select what is the C here. C is the capacitance of this GM tube. It is acting like a capacitor. See, this is anode is positive, this cathode is negative. So it is acting like a capacitor separated by distance. Therefore, it is a capacitor. So that is the C is the capacitance of the GM tube. That will depend on the construction, how big you make it. And R external resistor is used. We can adjust the external resistor such that you will get about 1 millisecond, 10 power minus 3 second, R into C. When you make it 1 millisecond, then it means the alpha particle, if it is coming at a rate greater than 10 power minus 3 second, then it will be ready. So it will count one pulse, get ready. Second, after 1 millisecond, that is 10 power minus 3 second, that is millisecond. After 1 millisecond, second pulse comes, it can read. So here the dead time, that is called dead time, it is 10 power minus 3 second. Here C is capacitance of the GM tube. Pulse is discharged. Once a particle enters, it will get a pulse, and that pulse will be immediately discharged. Therefore, it will be ready. It will be discharged in 10 power minus 3 second and it will be ready for the next pulse. This is the process of quenching done externally. Pulse is discharged in RC seconds, R into RC seconds, and ready for the next pulse or the next particle. So this is what we get. What is the dead time? Already you would have understood what is dead time. It is the time taken by positive ions to reach the cathode. That is that was the time which cannot read the second pulse. So the positive ion goes slowly. Therefore, that is the time. It is the time taken by the positive ions to reach the cathode. That will be about 100 microseconds. That will be the time taken. That time is the dead time. The GM tube cannot work for that time till that fellow reaches the cathode. It is the time between first and second pulse. First pulse and second pulse. In between, that is a dead time. It is a period during which ionization remains suspended. That is the dead time. Recovery time, time needed for the GM counter to recover from the next pulse. You have to design such that it is slightly more than the dead time. And here we go to the GM tube and we see what is the characteristic of the GM. So this is the GM tube we have. This is y-axis number of pulses. So this region is called GM region. This is the threshold at which the counting starts. Vt is the threshold voltage where the counting starts. Voltage increased and it is a proportional region. So plateau is GM region where the counts are constant independent of voltage. When applied voltage is increased further, AR atoms are ionized without any entry of the particle. Beyond GM, continuous discharge will take place and therefore no pulses can be counted. Thus GM region gives the operating voltage. So it can be used for detecting small activity and also for individual pulses. Drawback, it cannot read the energy, it can read only the number of pulses. So we have just discussed the GM tube and also the quenching process. So I have put a few questions. How is strong electric field obtained in GM tube? With diagram, explain the working of GM counter. Explain how quenching occurs in GM tube. Thank you.